Welcome to another episode of the Adrienne Ross Show, where sports and culture connect. Please forgive me that it's going to sound like I had a fight with the microphone throughout this video, and the microphone won and is the only one who survived. Gave me fits. So again, please forgive me and enjoy the content. I was out and about this afternoon into this evening, and I had already determined that when I got back home and got settled in, I was going to do a video about Sophie Cunningham. In particular, why every athlete needs a Sophie Cunningham on the team. But while I was still out, came across my YouTube feed, the Indiana Fever's posting of the media availability, and Sophie Cunningham had some things to say. She said the not so quiet part out loud. And so I said, I definitely got to get on this video now and add that to it. So before I say more about why every athlete needs a Sophie Cunningham, let's take a look at a little bit of what she said to the media today. We're going to go over to the Fever's YouTube page.
So if you've gained, I think, 500,000 followers and such, and your jersey selling out, how cool is that for your...
Yeah, it's cool. It's funny what kind of people are attracted to. I'm just trying to keep the main thing. The main thing is that's basketball, trying to win games, sticking up for my teammates. And that's all part of it. I think all that stuff it's fun and whatnot, but at the end of the day, we need to win some basketball games.
So you heard it there. She didn't lie to us. When they first brought Sophie onto the team in the preseason, she made it plain. I stick up for myself. I stick up for my teammates. And there it is. She says it again. Now we're going to fast forward a little bit to the end of this media availability time and hear what else she says. And then I'll put this all together.
You played in front of your packed house a few nights back. The other night, the energy in San Francisco. Tomorrow, you're on the Las Vegas Strip. What can the Las Vegas expect from Sophie?
Oh, you know what? I'm just going to be me. I don't go in there trying to predetermine anything. I'm dialed in. I need to focus on hitting my shots, making sure I'm executing the schemes right. I'm not focused on the extracurricular activities. And you know what? During that, it was just part of the game. I think the refs had a lot to do with that. It was a build up for a couple of years now of them just not protecting, the star player of the WNBA. And so at the end of the day, I'm going to protect my teammates. That's what I do. And I'm a team player. So it's all good.
As I said, she said the not so quiet part out loud. So let's break it down. I'm not going to go back to showing the footage from the Connecticut Sun game. By now, I imagine you've seen it, the way Caitlin Clark was treated and thrown to the floor, Sophie Cunningham not being in the game at that time. You may not have seen one thing, though, about that, where she was not in the game. But, boy, she tried to get out there on the floor. We'll show that in a moment. But then, of course, at the end of the game where she took down J.C. Sheldon, Sophie Cunningham is not pretending that this was just wrapping her up and keeping her from scoring. She's making it plain. Why else would she say in this moment right here, I stick up for my teammates? Why did she then say this huge part at the end? And that is protecting the star player of the WNBA. Like, again, when I was going to do this video, I hadn't heard that part yet. I had already planned to do this video. That part is really, really worth mentioning again and again. A lot of people don't want to say what Sophie Cunningham just said. She kept it real on a number of fronts. The first one being, I'm going to stick up for my teammates. And then other parts in there that I didn't play. It's about, we got to play better basketball. This is about basketball. She kept it real there. And at the end, you got to protect the star player. And I'm going to do my role. That's who I am, and that's what I do. So she embraces that role as the enforcer. Caitlin Clark is the star player of the WNBA, and Sophie Cunningham is not going to pretend that she's not. And there it is right there. And I'm sure there are lots of people out there who did not like what she said, but she told the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. and she welcomes that role. Had to put that out there. Kudos to Sophie Cunningham. Now, let's get to what I was going to talk about even before I knew she had made those comments. And that is every team needs a Sophie Cunningham. I'm not in favor of what we had to see the other night. And you heard her just there. This was about a couple years of these officials not protecting the star player. This was a buildup. If they were doing their job, it would have never come to what we saw on Tuesday night. So Sophie Cunningham is that one. She's willing to take on that role. She recognizes that as what she's supposed to do. So, Adrienne, when you say every team needs a Sophie Cunningham, are you saying you want to see these kinds of fights? I absolutely don't, which is why we need a Sophie Cunningham, because unfortunately, it came to that night. But when you send a message, hopefully, you don't have to do too much of what we saw the other night. People know that she's not playing around. People know that she's determined you're not going to take down my teammate who happens to be the star of the WNBA. You're not treating my teammate like that. And when she was holding on to JC Sheldon, she was talking something. I don't know what she said, but she had a message she was delivering, not only by enforcing, but also what she said. She sent a message. A lot of people see the Indiana Fever the same way Kelsey Mitchell saw them in the game against Golden State, and that's soft. A lot of people see Caitlin Clark as the person they can go after for whatever reason. Okay, we can talk about the jealousy. We can talk about the cattiness. We can talk about other people are saying, well, she talks junk, so she did whatever it is you want to talk about. A lot of people feel like they can go after Caitlin Clark. Sophie Cunningham sent the message. So it's not open season for Caitlin Clark as far as she's concerned, although the officials have sort of allowed it to be so, as has the commissioner. But everybody needs that Sophie Cunningham who says, I'm not playing games. I'm going to send a message. And hopefully, it's the only time I have to send the message. But it's like the bully on the playground. Until somebody sends a message by standing up to them, holding their ground, happens over and over and over. And sometimes it just takes the one beat down for that person, that bully, to then have to think twice, along with everybody else who might have had some ideas also. It's not happening. Everyone needs that. And again, I'm not going to show what we saw the other night, but maybe you did not see when she was on the bench and she had to be held back by the coaching staff so that she didn't get out there on the floor. So let me show you that at Clark Season on X. She is over here. You see my pointer? Did it hold her back? Again, keep your eye over here. There they are. Austin Kelly's holding her, and she wants to get out there. I reiterate, you need a player who has your back, who's going to stand with you. And in addition to being the one who says, that's my role, that's what I do, Sophie Cunningham is also that teammate because she's a lot of fun. You can tell she likes to dance around. She likes to be lighthearted. She likes to have a good time. We see it when she's playing. We see it when she's on the bench, when she was injured and she couldn't play. She brings the energy, the excitement, the fun. You need that also. You need that teammate you can just kick it with. And then when you get on the court and you're battling, you need to know that the same player you were kicking it with, who's just cool to hang around and likes to have a good time, has your back and knows how to step up and send a message. Every team needs a Sophie Cunningham. And when you have a Sophie Cunningham, you don't have to kick butt every game because somebody's going to get the message, like hopefully JC Sheldon did. Hopefully Marina Mabry did. Hopefully Tina Charles did. Hopefully the officials did, and hopefully the commissioner did. I'm sure you've heard this about people before. Oh, she's nice, but don't mistake her niceness for weakness. Sophie Cunningham, every athlete needs one. But I also want to point out this. Every athlete also could use an Aliyah Boston. And I'm saying that because I have seen many times comments about Aliyah Boston. Aliyah Boston is 6'5", but Aliyah Boston, she's not getting out there fighting. She doesn't have Caitlin Clark's back. So I want to address that. I have isolated times and comments and things like that. But this is a good time because we can look at a Sophie Cunningham and we can say, she's got her teammates back. Aliyah Boston was with her last year and she just don't do nothing. Aliyah Boston is who Aliyah Boston is. I've seen her step in the middle. Remember, Angel Reese tried to come after Caitlin Clark, acting like she didn't know what a take foul was. Aliyah Boston's going to step in there. But if you're expecting Aliyah Boston to be Sophie Cunningham, yeah, you're going to be disappointed. Not every player on the team is the enforcer. They'll step in, they'll get between, they'll try to bring peace. That's Aliyah Boston. But what you don't want are non-fighters out there trying to fight. Go back to last season. Some people thought that she should have gone after Kennedy Carter and put her on her bottom. Kennedy Carter, I don't want to see Aliyah Boston trying to throw hands with Kennedy Carter. In fact, I don't really want to see Aliyah Boston trying to throw hands with anybody. That's not who she is. Aliyah Boston's the one who gets on social media and posts her scriptures and posts her devotionals, and she's going to try to bring peace. She's not the enforcer. You can't have a team full of enforcers. You ain't going to have nobody left on the court. But don't mistake her peacemaking spirit with somebody who's not loyal to Caitlin Clark. Aliyah Boston has Caitlin Clark's back. It's not going to look like Sophie Cunningham, and that's okay. In fact, that's good because that's not who she is, and we don't want her throwing hands because that's not who she is. But again, make no mistake about it. She loves Caitlin. Caitlin loves her. There's a mutual respect, and there's even that ritual. In case you've forgotten what that ritual is, here it is again. That's from Caitlin Clark Center on YouTube. Maybe you have never seen that ritual before, but it goes like this. Aliyah Boston is sitting down. She calls Caitlin Clark over. Caitlin hurries up and gets over there. Aliyah wants her to sit down. Caitlin sits down. They embrace, and Caitlin tells her, you're going to be amazing because you are amazing. And I've even heard them say, I love you so much. These two have a connection. It's off the court, and we can see the benefits of it on the court. So don't get it twisted. Because Aliyah Boston is not going to just be out there throwing, banging heads and stuff like that against each other, doesn't mean she's not loyal. Now, I'll tell you this. I don't know that every player on the Indiana Fever has Caitlin's back like that. I don't know that every player on the team is connected to Caitlin Clark and totally loyal to Caitlin Clark. I'm not saying that there are players who are not. I'm just saying I don't know about every player. I know about some I'd name, but I don't know about everyone. I just don't know. But I feel confident that Aliyah Boston is one of those who definitely has a relationship with Caitlin, has Caitlin's back, and it's not just like, oh, I don't care if she gets jacked up. I'm not going to step in. No, she's got a role to fill. Every team needs the Aliyah Bostons as well. That teammate has your back. That teammate is not stabbing you in the back. That teammate who supports you. Maybe she's not putting on boxing gloves and getting out there and punching. Maybe she's not grabbing somebody and saying something like Sophie Cunningham. Maybe she's not going to wrap them up and make sure they taste a little bit of the hardwood, but she's going to be there. She's going to be there. She'll step in if she has to step in. She is just as loyal, but she's fulfilling her role. That's why Sophie Cunningham said, it's what I do. Not everybody does it the same way. What you need are players who respect one another. And you need players also who know what other people pretend is not true. We heard Sophie Cunningham say.
It was just part of the game. I think the refs had a lot to do with that. It was a build-up for a couple of years now of them just not protecting, the star player of the WNBA. And so at the end of the day, I'm going to protect my teammates. That's what I do. And I'm a team player, so it's all good.
And we also need this. I'll catch you next time, God willing. God bless you abundantly.